eminent speaker of this session, Dr. Suresh Bhalla. He, please welcome him. He is an alumni of IIT Delhi and National University of Singapore. Currently, he is Associate Professor of Civil Engineering at IIT Delhi. He has submitted over 50 plus papers in peer-reviewed journals. So, requesting you to please start the session. And this session would reflect the Bhagwat Gita as a perfect theistic science. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So, good morning, everyone. So, how many of you have any time come across Bhagwat Gita? Have you tried to open it? Raise your hands. How many of you have heard about Bhagwat Gita? Everyone. How many of you have got the book with you? Less than 5%. How many of you have read it completely? One hand. So it's glad. So today's talk will cover some of the aspects of Bhagavad Gita. It will be telling you a synopsis of Bhagavad Gita. Now, if you want to understand Bhagavad Gita, you should read it under some guidance. So after this lecture, my objective is that you start reading Bhagavad Gita. And when you read it, then slowly and slowly you will get convinced and you will start following it. And when you start following it, you will see benefits in your life, and then you will follow it more and distribute to others. Now we start with science. Now what is science? You are all basically students of Ramanujan College. So all are science students? Arts also. Basically, science is also one kind of art. Engineering is an art. So from higher point of view, there is no difference between science, technology, especially engineering and arts. Engineering is also an art. So what scientific point of view, we have got this kind of wrong notion that if we call ourselves as scientists, then we should not associate ourselves with spirituality, or rather the word is religion. That we feel, okay, we should stay away from this. That these are opposite. We are trying to pose ourselves as modern. So, and how come we are opening Bhagavad Gita? It looks contradictory. But if you read Bhagavad Gita, that won't be the case. Now, the modern scientific theory, we think that it is only a study of matter. It only deals with matter. Whatever we can see with our senses, feel with our senses, or with some aids like microscope or some other devices, that we accept. And if we don't feel anything, we are not able to visualize it with senses, then we think that it does not exist. So this we'll see what Bhagavad Gita teaches us. Now modern science, it has limitations. What are the limitations of modern science? Modern science, it can explain how a process works. It cannot explain why. For example, Newton, he observed apple falling from the tree. And he proposed that there must be a force, that is gravitational force. But why does apple fall? And when apple falls, apple does not fall when it's unripe. Apple falls only when correct time comes. It falls when it's ripe enough for us to be eaten, then it falls. And there is science behind it, higher science. And there are controllers who go on that process. So science is not familiar with those controllers. Then scientific method is limited to what we observe through our limited senses. Are we very perfect human beings? How many of you think that you are 100% perfect? Raise your hand. Is there anyone who thinks that he is a perfect person? We are all imperfect. we have 4 defects. First of all, our senses, they are limited, imperfect. We need to aid our senses. Day by day, as we grow old, our senses, they get less and less sharp. We have to take care of hearing aids. We have to take care of visual aids. So we have imperfect senses. And then we also have other defects. For example, whatever we do, even if we have to write one page, we'll commit so many mistakes. We have to rewrite. Earlier there used to be typewriter, and in typewriter often the typists, they had to use white fluid. Now computer has come, so we do revision on the computer itself. But even after so many revisions, when you take the print out, again we find some mistake, we have to again reprint. So we are bound to commit mistakes. Then thirdly, we have cheating propensities. Even in small things, we try to have cheating propensities. And fourthly, we are always illusioned. The moment we are walking on a dimly lit path, we'll always get illusioned. We are very scary to walk on dimly light path. What will happen if we come across a small hole below our feet? We get alarmed. And suddenly our senses, we get into the reflex mode. So we have these 4 defects, and we are imperfect. So scientific method, we use all these things. So the outcome will also not be perfect. Now scientific method can be limited only to the present. We cannot go into the past directly, and we cannot go into the future. Then scientific method, it can only deal with events which are repeatable, which I have performed experiment, I publish in a journal. Someone else may be able to repeat that experiment. If not, then scientific method is not applicable. And lastly, and the most importantly, science does not tell you what is good, what is right, or what is wrong. Science can only tell you how a process works. Science has invented atomic bomb, but scientists, they cannot control its use. It can be misused. So scientists say that our work is to bring about the discoveries and inventions. Now it's up to the society. Someone may use the invention rightly for the benefit of people, and there may be someone who may be using it in a wrong way. So science is not familiar with morality. What is right, what is wrong. There are so many different theories, materialistic theory, that whatever you feel is good is right. Whatever your mind says, do that. So many theories are there, and young people are falling prey to these theories. So the thing is that, is the philosophy of Bhagwat Gita, does it have very strong, can it also be followed along with science? If you are science students, you have to work according to the scientific method. But at the same time, if you follow Bhagavad Gita, does it differ too much with the science? So let's see answers to these questions. Now first of all, what is the purpose of Bhagavad Gita? If I give you Bhagavad Gita, you would ask what I'll benefit. So the purpose of Bhagavad Gita is to deliver us from this